Just can't tell you how frustrated I am right now. Just frustrated. Going back to Birmingham wearing skinny jeans, I get the same thing. It's like
women pants.
Yeah. It's like boots and button-ups and flannel. I'm like, yeah, I don't fit in. I've been what do they call it? Cityfied. Just can't tell you how frustrated I am right now. Just frustrated. You know, what makes a great story? And you might be saying, what frustrated story? Like, what are you talking about, bro? You lost your marbles? No. You know, as humans, like, we're often drawn towards stories because why? Because they offer us a lesson. They teach us something without us having to necessarily experience the struggle. And so a good story we're drawn to, you know, at a very base level, they have a conflict and they have a resolution. You know, what I've been struggling with is on these vlogs, telling a story. You know, when I say telling a story, I don't mean just like, you know, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water or whatever like the thing goes. Right, like it's just, and it's so frustrating. Because I want to tell a good story, because you don't get the point across, you don't get from A to B without telling a good story. Let's break it down. Here's my problem, which is not trying to tell a story. And now how am I going to, there's the conflict. Now what's the resolution for me? What am I going to do? So it's just something that I'm very much thinking about. Well, that's a great question. It's one I get asked a whole lot, and I think well, of course, I think, you know, I always tell people, you know, people don't care what you do until they know why you do it, and all of a sudden that, at least from my experience, it certainly gives people a level of deeper understanding of why it is that, you know, you're doing it. Because like let's be real, and I was ranting on this today on my vlog that'll be coming up on Sunday. It's like, you know, you know, the why, so to speak, you know, Simon Sinek coined that so famously, you know, the why really tells the story, and people love stories. You know, storytellers win. Good storytellers win. And I think the reason people love stories, I'm not trying to get down a rabbit hole here, but I think, you know, the reason people love stories is because they're able to learn a lesson without having to experience the pain. Right? I enjoy engaging with human beings. I think that's been my favorite part about the whole thing, is just the massive amounts of DMs that I get every day, and just there's so many that I almost can't get to them all, and that's, I think, the most encouraging thing for me. But I you know, I spend crazy hours at night answering all of them, so no one goes unanswered. What do you have to say to the camera?
I don't know. Don't do it. No, reason.
She says she's not an interesting person. Do y'all believe that? I don't know. Should you believe her? I don't know. Anyways, where are we going?
Breakfast at Pam's?
Pam's. Is Pam a person?
Yeah. Why not?
Who's Pam? Hashtag who's Pam?
We're gonna go find out.
There you go. Building suspense. First step of vlogging. Have random subtitles and thumbnails. The day I opened the box. The one day we went to Pam's, this happened. And it's like the only thing you did was like drink a cup of coffee. It's like, but this happened. I'm like, no. Bye, Felicia. How was your first Pam's experience?
It was great.
What did you
Loved
think?
it. I loved it. I had pancakes and they were very sweet and sugary.
And who ate most of the pancakes?
Micah. He thinks about his next meal as he's eating his meal. So he's gonna have brunch and then lunch and then a snack, then dinner, then a late night snack.
Yeah, I was already talking about what I was gonna eat for lunch. This is true. So, my sister is about to interview me for this project at school. And she says I have to behave. So I was like, the vlog isn't gonna like me behaving. I have to conform to these social constructs. Garbage.
I'm Marina from Savannah College of Art and Design, and I'm here to interview you for a research project for my contextual research class. So how did you get involved in fitness? Did you play any sports as a child?
Yeah, I got involved in fitness. So I played baseball all my life, and after that, really just got into fitness. I guess because of the sport, but ultimately I got into fitness because my dad started working out, and it was just a really great way to for us to bond, and so that's ended up how I kind of got into fitness and make that a regular thing.
That's great. So what would you say would be your most enjoyable part about doing what you do?
I think the most enjoyable part is people, and I know a lot of people say people, but it was specifically about people. I think seeing people go from point A to point B in their lives. Obviously, we're in the realm of physical fitness and nutrition and things of that nature. So it's really a very basic thing for people is they want to look good, they want to feel good, they want to be able to perform well in their lives, whether that's with their kids, whether that's with their family. They want to have that ability to live hopefully a long life. And so being able to be a part of something that really affects the human being from a very foundational level is incredibly rewarding, because you get to see the fruit of that labor as they get stronger, they get more fit, they lose that weight, they achieve their goals. And that's really just a special moment to be able to be a part of that in just a really real, vulnerable and way. Because let's be real, losing weight, becoming the best version of yourself isn't necessarily always the easiest thing. And so being able to come alongside people in that process is incredibly rewarding.
As I have sat in on a few classes, I've realized that personal connection that you make with your clients through the classes. And I think you can tell that those people really appreciate the time and effort you put into them.
Yeah, I think you hit on something. In a world that's being ever made more convenient, more efficient, that one-on-one connection is, I think, growing ever more scarce. And granted, we have things like Facebook and Instagram and text messages and all of those great things, and I think those are great. However, I think the thing that's going to set these small businesses apart is what the big boxes, so to speak, just can't do, at least very well. And that's, in my opinion, that's going to be the personal connection and engagement that you experience when you walk in the door.
Those questions.
So we're in Lululemon today, and a nice lady comes up. How old do you think she was, Marina?
She looked about early 30s or late 20s.
Early 30s, late, yeah. So anyway, she came up, and she's obviously asking us, if we, we need help, whatever else. And anyway, so I don't know. We just sparked a conversation. I'm an extrovert, so I'll talk to a wall. Long story short, she was like, where are you guys from? And obviously, told her, obviously I live here in Raleigh, and Marina, it goes to SCAD in Savannah, Georgia. And so anyways, like, yeah, we're brother, sister and all this. And she had just had kids. So this was kind of fresh. What did you say?
Yeah, very.
Kind of a fresh thing for her. And what was so cool about it was she was like, you guys seem really close. Talking about Marina and I. And we're like, yeah, we're really close. She's like, oh, it's really awesome that you came up to see him and this, that, and the other. By the way, I'm super grateful for that. Because I know a lot of brother-sister combos, just a lot of family units that are really torn apart. And anyways, the punchline was this. She was like, how I think the question was something like, how did you guys like have this type of relationship? Like, you have good relationships with your mom and dad. Like, how's your family unit? Anyways, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Was that right there is like what that looks like. And I'm not about to try to, parenting, like, no. But just from my experience, and I'm gonna get her to chime in too, from her experience of like what growing up was like, and also why we think we turned out the way we did. So anyways, I'm curious to kind of hear your opinion. Why do you feel like you turned out the way that you turned out?
Well, I think we turned out the way we turned out was because everything was very family oriented in our family.
Yeah.
Every night we'd go to like my mom, she would cook dinner, and my dad would come home from work. We'd all have dinner together, or we'd always go to my grandmother's house, at least every Sunday, and we like the whole family would come over, aunts and uncles and all of our cousins.
Yeah.
So like we were always with family, and even we did like 2 or 3 family like beach trips. So, and then like towards high school, like we got to bring our friends, but I'll say majority of the time it was just family.
Yeah. I want to like add this too, because I know a lot of you might be watching and be like, well, I didn't have it like you, or like I didn't grow up like you, or whatever, like you had it all easy. And let me say this, like I didn't. That's very not true. Our parents got divorced when at least, I don't know, I was about 9 or 10, and it went on for a few years, like a lot of years. Anyways, and the point I say that, or the reason I said it, is because like we didn't have like a perfect family unit. I know a lot of people think, well, oh, it was just perfect. Like, no, it was messy. It was human beings. How I answered the question was, I kind of preface it with, I believe firmly, and also credit all of my success, whatever that is, all to my parents, all the way that they, raised us. Like, I firmly believe that it's because of them. It's the way they parented us. And so she asked specifically, like, what do you think they did, like, well? And obviously Marina just mentioned about like, family dinners and stuff. And I mean, yeah, I think that was important. I don't think that was the thing. I think it was a conglomeration of things. One of the things that kind of always stuck out to me was, if we were interested in something, they just kind of were like, yeah, like, go do it. Now, with that being said, I want to add this, like, and I don't know if Marina feels the same way, but we could not quit anything. Like, I tried to quit piano lessons for a solid 6 years, and that woman would not let me quit. I was pissed. This is the point I want to make, is we were always encouraged. And I think that is huge, because the more I talk to people, and the more I get to know you guys, and via DMs and messages, it really comes down to like a confidence and belief in yourself. Like, there is no belief. Whether you think I'm cocky or confident, the point is this: I believe in myself, like 100%. Because I just think if you don't believe in yourself, I don't see how you can do anything. And so the whole point of this was, and this is what I told this very nice lady, Caroline, was that I just firmly believe that that's the reason. That's what I credit my belief to. That's what I credit my success to. Like, that's what I credit my mindset to, is the way my parents parented me, which was very much like, you can do it. You got this. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to put in the work, and you're not going to quit, no matter if you hate it, right? But, yeah. So anyways, you want to chime in on that?
I go to art school, and a lot of people are like, oh, you go to art school? What do you do, just draw? Like, no, my parents encouraged me to do what I wanted to do, and they let me do what I want to do, just like they let him do.
And but that's it, and that's the whole thing I'm saying out of all of this, is like, that encouragement is, quite frankly, like an alien life form to a lot of people that I talk to, and that's the point I'm making by this, is like, I don't feel like when I get down to it, like the nuts and bolts, like, people were not encouraged as children. Cool. That was a good segment.
How do I turn this off?
It's right there.